one thing I realized in Ramadan, I don't know about you, but one thing I realized in Ramadan, especially amongst my peers, me included, I got personally a lot of athar and effects from lectures, or rather reminders from the non-traditional sheikhs or scholars. Right? I didn't get a lot of athar from Umar Sulaiman, neither did I get a lot of athar from, let's say, Asir Qadi, but I get a lot of athar from a girl, a simple girl who's an entrepreneur and told me about Surah Al-Baqarah and this stuff.
Right. Because a lot of people, there's a couple of reasons why that's the case. Number one, a lot of people, they're learning usul, like they're learning foundations, are structured in a way where it limits them to only focus on this, only focus on that. And then they as people choose to remain within those hudud, within those boundaries, unnecessarily. Because we have to remember, different times call for different measures.
100%.
So if you are, and this is one of the reasons all of us in general, all across the Muslim world, regardless of what part of the Muslim world you're in, doesn't matter whether you're in the US or Kenya or any other non-Muslim country or Muslim country, anywhere Muslims are is part of the Muslim world by default, by definition. So anywhere in the Muslim world, this phenomenon ends up being universal, the same. We try to practice al-Islam with Medini ideals while living in a Mecca context. Like we're all in a Mecca context. We're like in a neo-Mecca context. So because of that, we're obligated to approach al-Islam from a Mecca context. We don't live in a Medini context. Like, for example, al-Khilafah, Islamic governance doesn't exist right now. It hasn't existed since 1922. Right? So because of that, we're obligated to work within that framework without certain key important things. People, they lose sight of that. A lot of people want to pretend that certain things still exist when they don't. And that's why people are out of their depth in terms of real life boots on the ground, grassroots working with people. You know, a lot of times people shoot above people's heads, above people's comprehensions, as opposed to conveying things in a way where anyone and everyone can comprehend, regardless of their level. We have to be more like that.
I agree with you in terms of profiling and boxing ourselves, and that's why I personally do have very contrary opinion to compared to a lot of our scholars currently. Okay, so say the password for the laptop, please. Compared to our scholars currently, because people would want, for example, to teach usul al-thalatha the same way Sheikh Muhammad ibn Abdullah taught it.
Right.
Not knowing that you're living in a very different time. Right? So basically, it's quite unfortunate. Anyway, I think we're good to go.
Okay.
Right? What's it? We're good to go? So, inshallah. Great.
Amen.
So I'm just going to introduce, and then I'll give you guys a minute each to introduce yourselves. Inshallah, it's okay. So watch it. It's fine. I'll get the notification, right? So.
Wait, is there a bathroom on this floor? We just use the bathroom.
There is. You use the bathroom on right now?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's good.
All right. Thank you.
He's gonna show you. He's gonna show you just. Sorry? I'm going to YouTube, and then from YouTube you can check it.
Hey,
Yeah. Oh. Alhamdulillah. I mean. Huh? Live ready? Chanza. We're ready streaming live. So Chanza. So we're streaming. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Just as I was stretching, and then the producer decides to tell me that you're already live, and wow, this is the greatest ambush. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, everyone. My name is Faisal Qasim, and I am the CEO and founder of Halal Hub Africa, a platform that we seek to organize and promote the halal industry right now in Africa. And I'll be your host for this amazing podcast where we're going to be talking about parenting, and we're going to unpack a lot. I mean, we had requested for 5 minutes, but here we are. The producer decided otherwise, and we are starting the show. And of course, in this show, I'm supposed to have Gareth Brandt, who's all the way from New York City, and he's a chaplain in one of the universities there. He's going to tell us more about himself. And on the left side, I'm honored and privileged to have Coco Mohammed from Family Resource Center. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh.
Now that we found ourselves in these situations, yeah, we were supposed to wait for Gareth Brandt, but again, here we are. So, Auntie Coco, tell us about yourself. Who is Coco Mohammed?
Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alamin. Salatu wa salam ala ashrafil anbiya wal mursalin. Who is Coco Mohammed? Coco Mohammed is a mother, is a parent, and I know we are talking about parenting. Yes, is a therapist. I'm a marriage and family therapist. I do counseling, so marriage and family therapist. We deal with premarital counseling, family issues, children's upbringing and all that, and any other issues that come up. As a marriage and family therapist, we are involved in many other things.
So for how long have you been doing it?
Oh, Alhamdulillah, I've done this for over 15 years.
Wow.
More than 15 years.
MashaAllah.
Alhamdulillah. So I can say I have experience. I've met many people in this field.
Yeah.
I've learned and learned many things also through my work.
No, sure.
Yes, and I do all this at the Family Resource Center. And also I'm a member of the Kenya Counseling and Psychological Association, and I'm registered and licensed by the Counselors and Psychologists Board that came into being in 2022.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, interesting. So another thing that maybe I'd like to know, what made you go into this field? I mean, this is all as trying to scratch the surface and having conversations as we are waiting for our panelists, inshallah, to join us, and then you can start the whole conversation. So what made you go into clinical psychology, and what made you go into your practice right now?
Well, you know, most of the time when we do something, it's because we have a passion for it. As I was growing up, I had a passion for just helping people. I knew I wanted to be in the helping profession. Before I knew about counseling and psychology, I wanted to be a nurse. But you know, we plan Allah plans, and Allah's plan is the best. So after school, I didn't find myself in the helping profession. I found myself in the financial world. While in the financial world, I came across counseling, and I said, this is what I would want to do. Wow. And from there, I got into it. I started from certificate level, higher diploma, until master's.
And you're talking about years where this whole discussion and topic about mental health was not as popular, was it?
No, it was not. But for me, counseling came to me as a helping profession. And when I got into it, I realized, apart from it helping me, apart from me studying it to help others, it helped me more.
Interesting. That's really interesting.
Yes.
Guys, so far I'm looking at only 4 people currently watching, and as I said, we're just scratching the surface with Coco Mohammed here from Family Resource Center, just trying to understand her journey as we're waiting for Gareth Brandt, who will be joining us in very few minutes. Maybe the producer can just show us, give us a glimpse of his seat, his glasses, his phone, to show that he's here. And he's gonna be with us in any minute from now. Any minute from now, he's gonna join us, and then we can take a deep dive into the conversation. But again, as we are waiting for him, we are having some small talk here with Auntie Coco Mohammed from Family Research Center. So far, 4 people are watching. Come on, guys. I know we can increase the numbers because this topic today is going to be fire. It's going to be crazy, and it's very important that we all take part. And remember, you will also take part in this conversation. You can comment, you can ask your questions, you can share your experiences. So it is not just us learning from our panelists here, but again, it's also us who are in this show, in this panel here this afternoon to learn from you. Remember, this is a project of a partnership between Masjid Al Amin and iMedia. So Masjid Al Amin, the brainchild of this whole project, and of course their distribution partners iMedia, who facilitated this live that is coming to you through their YouTube channel. So remember to also like, subscribe, and share the link, and share with other people, share with your loved ones. Let us join in, let us start this conversation down there. You can just say salam wherever you are, wherever you're watching from, and to salimiane kwa mtandao. Let me know who is watching. Let me know where you're watching from. Say salam and tuweze kusalimiana kwenye mtandao. My name is Faisal Kasim, and I say hi, and I'm also watching. Yes. So from the time you started until now, how can you describe the journey mental health has taken so far, in terms of the awareness, in terms of sensitization, in terms of how people are perceiving mental health right now? So what really can you say about that very quickly?
Thank you, Faisal. Mental health, and when I say mental health, it means everything to do with our mental well-being. It has not been, it's something that it has been there, but it is new to most people.
Is it?
That they don't understand it. In mental health, when we talk about depression, when we talk about ADHD, PTSD, and let me talk more about our Muslim community. They always feel like it is something to do with sihr. They don't want to believe that it can't just happen.
And there goes the MVP.
Experience. Yes. It can't. It can happen out of their experiences, what they have gone through, and what they are going through.
And there goes the MVP, Gareth Grant.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Ahlan assalam. How are you? You okay? MashaAllah. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome. Yeah, so you can just finish your thought process and then we continue, huh?
Yes, so in Kenya, in the Muslim community, we are just learning about mental health. So when we say we are learning, it means 2007, late 1990s, people were still doing mental health, but it was not in a big way. Now, the awareness is building up. People are being educated. People are realizing the importance of even mental health.
So we are at a better place compared to where we were.
Yeah. Oh, and I believe with this, we are also creating awareness.
Amazing. Thanks so much, Coco, for sharing your story with us and your experiences. And of course, we were just scratching the surface. And let's take it from the tops once again, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Faisal Kasim, and welcome to this one-of-a-kind special podcast, a project of Al Amin Masjid in partnership with iMedia. My name is Faisal Kasim. I am the CEO and founder of Halal Hub Africa, a platform where we seek to organize and promote and market the halal industry in Africa in general. And it is my honor and pleasure to be your host for this amazing one-of-a-kind podcast where I'm hosting two amazing people. On my right is Gareth Brand. I'm going to give him time to introduce himself. This is the first time I'm meeting him. Every time I'm meeting him, I leave with gems, and I'm going to give him time to introduce himself. And on my left is Coco Mohammed. Of course, you've had a glimpse about her, and I'm sure you want to listen more about her. And to this afternoon, rather, I'm used to hosting night shows. So this afternoon we will be talking about parenting as an amanah. Wewe kulea ule mtoto total. You know, I was told that some people are just male figures, father figures, but they're not really doing parenting. Yet others are mothers, but they're not really doing parenting. So this podcast will help us to understand how exactly that happens, and we're going to take it from the top way much before. So without further ado, let's dig in. Sheikh Gareth Bar.
Sheikhuna, alhamdulillah. Good.
Just for purpose of introduction, purpose of our audience, please tell us briefly about yourself. Who's Gareth Bryant?
Yes, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. I'm Gareth Bryant. I'm a counselor, I'm a therapist, I'm a chaplain. I'm from New York City, the United States. I've been a chaplain since 2014. I've been in the mental health field in general since 2011 because my suicide awareness and prevention advocacy began in 2011.
So right now, talking about what, 14, 15 years?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
That's amazing. That's beautiful. Ironically, you'll be surprised that that's around the same time that Coco Muhammad has been in this space as well.
MashaAllah.
So Coco, please, let's take it again from the top. So who's Coco Muhammad?
Coco Muhammad is a therapist, a mother, a parent. And I've been in this field for more than 15 years, actually, from 2007.
Wow.
I started my journey in 2005, but practicing started in 2007.
Amazing. Beautiful. That's amazing. Thank you so much. Guys, thank you so much for making time for this thing. And to our audience, thank you so much for making time. So far, 9 people are watching. FBG, Tall Man, FRM. Assalamu alaikum. We say wa alaikum salam. Thank you so much. Number 1 fan, their crowd I see. And we apologize for having started this whole podcast late, but let's dig into it. Gareth Brown, let's start with you. So how would you describe an ideal family in respect to parenting, which is our topic this afternoon? How would you describe it? Let's start with that.
Well, honestly, it's in the title of the event itself. It's an amanah. It's a trust. It's a qiwama. It's a responsibility. Okay. And Islamically, we know this because Allah says in the Quran, Allah says, وَتَعَاوَنُوا عَلَى الْبِرِّ وَالتَّقْوَى وَلَا تَعَاوَنُوا عَلَى الْإِثْمِ وَالْعُدْوَانِ. Allah says, and collaborate as per positivity and piety, but don't collaborate as per sin and enmity. And then Allah also mentions the man and the woman as libas, as shields, as coverings for each other, as protections for each other, right? So the most basic way for man and woman to do that is under the institution of marriage. That's literally the best way that man and woman can shield and protect each other.
So how does parenting then comes into that?
Well, ideally, good spouses would make good parents. Because if a man and a woman are respecting the rights that they have over each other, that would naturally trickle down into respecting the rights that children have over parents. Unfortunately, human life experience is a lot more complex than that, and we make things more complicated than that, right? So I'm saying that to say that there's a difference between being a father or a mother and being a parent.
Okay.
Being a father and a mother is exclusively predicated on pregnancy via sexual intercourse. Base level, that's the only thing that makes someone a father or a mother. It's just biological realities. What makes someone a parent is that person being 100% fully invested in the well-being of their children so that their children have a better life experience than they ever had. Even if they had the most ideal life, even if they functioned and was reared under the most ideal circumstances, they still fully invest in those children so that their children have better.
So basically about the conscious decision of one taking part in trying to make the life of the young ones better.
Yes.
Having understood that this is an amanah and it's going to be a question.
Complete initiative, exactly. Okay. Without anyone having to tell them or pressure them, having it being sincere, having sincerity, ikhlas behind it.
Okay. Self-initiative. Thanks so much, Gareth Brown, for that. Coco, some question to you. How would you define an ideal Muslim home or an ideal home in respect to our topic this afternoon, which is parenting?
Parenting. Just like Gareth has said, an ideal family needs to have a father, a mother, and now the siblings. Once, of course, siblings come from Allah. He is the one who provides, because you can have an ideal family with not just biological children, but also adopted. That would still be an ideal family. But now when it comes to parenting are whereby the parents, this is the father, the mother, or the father, or just the mother, because there are some families we have single parent out of things beyond anybody's control. These parents are supposed to nurture the children spiritually, support them spiritually, physically, emotionally. All those make one an ideal parent.
Well, I thank you so much. And you mentioned something very important that at a later stage we will need to unpack it. The issue of single parenting. It's something that has been profiled, demonized, and victimized in this country so much, especially amongst the online community that we see. There are some people who are coming out with very unpopular opinions that sometimes things happen and they claim vindication, right? That we're going to be talking about it at some point later. But again, this whole issue of parenting that we've all spoken about, you've spoken about the part that someone has to be conscious and being present and ensuring that the young ones actively and being, or rather trying to create a better environment for these young ones compared to them. So where does this start? Where does this journey of parenting start? Beyond the intercourse, beyond welcoming the newborn into this world, where does it start in your opinion, Gareth?
In my opinion, it should start the moment a person has in their mind that they want to be a family person.
Okay.
The moment, it was about Muslims specifically, the moment a Muslim takes it upon themselves and says, I want a spouse, literally at that moment, it should start.
So that's what you said?
Yeah.
100%. Coco, what do you think? In your opinion?
In my opinion, sometimes even that person, they have no idea they want to be a parent. But it is thrown at them as a parent. I know I can keep on asking my daughter, my son, when are you getting married? You see, it's an idea that I'm trying to plant in their mind.
So okay. But that's very popular in Africa, whereby some people actually find themselves in a situation where they get surrounding pressure.
Yes.
Especially in our community.
In our community,
maybe someone hadn't even thought about marriage.
And by the way
neither about family.
The way we do it is like, I'm waiting for my grandchildren.
Wow.
When will I see my grandchildren?
That's very common in the United States as well.
Really?
It's not exclusive to one region of the world. What ends up happening is that a lot of people are hooked on legacy. They want to see the fruits of their labor.
Continuity.
Yeah, the continuity. Yeah, they want to like quote unquote humanly ensure that they witness something to leave behind, or like descendants or whatever. Just like natural. It's natural. At the same time, we're not Islamically justified to expect that from our offspring, our children, if we don't cultivate them upon that. A lot of times, the subject of marriage isn't even spoken of unless the child is now college bound. Then they'd be like it's like right before like their senior year, right? Right before their senior. Oh, now it's time for you to get married. Like what? Like we're having this conversation now.
Interesting. See, so something that I'm picking from this conversation at a very early stage is the different dynamic, that there are people who actively and consciously choose that it's my time to start this conversation, it's my time to start settling. Yet there are people who are forced into this institution.
Yes.
Which I'd like to engage with the audience. So where do you fall? Where were you? Did you consciously make this decision? Did you plan for it? Or were you forced into it? And when you were forced into it, or when you were pressured into it, did you make a conscious, independent decision? Please, let's talk about it in the comment, and people who are watching right now, and share these links with your fellows so that they can join in. So let's pick it from there, right? It starts where someone makes that conscious decision that they want to get married, or they want to become a parent.
Yeah.
So what are some of the things that this person should do at that stage where they've come of age and they say, you know what, I want to be a family person, I want to get married, and I want to have kids, and inshallah, this is going to be my first step. So what are some of those steps?
One very important thing is they have to recognize and accept the reality that they're going to have to be less selfish. Because it's easy to do what we want to do when we're not responsible for nobody. Once we're humanly responsible for other people, Islamically, we're obligated to move in the world differently. It doesn't mean we will move in the world differently, but we have to recognize and accept the reality. We're obligated to move differently, because once we have a family, it's no longer just about us. It's not about me no more. It's about people I'm responsible for. Just as Muhammad, peace be upon him, mentioned, each of you are shepherds, and each of you will be questioned about your flock. Your family is your flock. And we know this, that's directly connected to what Allah says. Allah says, those who believe pay attention, save yourselves and your peoples from fire. Right. Yeah, exactly. Our spouses and our children are our peoples. They're our flock. And a lot of us are we're derelict in our responsibility. We're foolish. We're careless in our responsibilities. We're irresponsible in our responsibilities. Pun intended, right? You know, we don't take that qiwama. We don't take that responsibility seriously. And it's specifically when Allah says, "Ar-rijalu qawwamuna 'ala an-nisa," men are responsible for women. And the reason why that is so important is because, like for example, when Allah says in the Quran, this is something I found very poignant and interesting. Allah speaks about the different types of creatures, animals. Allah specifically mentions that He created animals, different animals in communities just like you, so that you learn how they operate, so that you can operate better.
Wow. Like the bees, like the ants,
like the lions,
odds,
like wolf packs. They thrive under family. You know, you have the wolf husband, the wolf wife,
and the cubs.
The lion husband, the lioness wife. And each of them have a role to play, and we see it play out. And the reason why Allah created animals in this way, so that we observe how they operate, and so that we as human beings, who are the highest degree of creation, that we can do a better job than the animals. But a lot of times we end up doing a worse job.
That's so true.
And we know, and Allah literally says this about those who ignore His signs. Allah says they are like beast, or even worse than beast. And it's so pitifully ironic how we look at animals, and you find that you have certain animals and animal groups, they're literally better parents to their offspring than humans are to their offspring. It's horrible.
So Gareth, you say it starts, so the first point is someone to have it at the back of their mind that they're going to have to be less selfish and know that they're going to have other people to take care of, right?
Yes.
They're going to be leaders. So what else? Then once you have that, then what do you do? Like, what are the practical steps that you take towards that?
Get a job. Start making halal money. Start saving. Start investing. Start mapping out your life. Being more financially responsible. Cutting costs, or spending things in ways that are more meaningful, that matter. Because, you know, a lot of times us as human beings, we have very horrible spending habits. We have very horrible shopping habits. When you're a family person, we have to humble our materialistic ego. We have to humble our financial ego and not just spend money just because we have it.
Focus on the bigger picture.
Exactly.
100%. Thank you. And Kokona, I wanted to chime in right now into this conversation and give it the local context. Very beautiful gems we're getting from Gareth here, but looking at our context, looking at our cultures, if I'm coming from a good, very well endowed family, I don't need to get a job, I don't need to stress myself, as you've clearly stated in the beginning, that some people are actually pushed into it. Like, what are you waiting for? You have everything at home. We're giving you a car, you have a house, you have an allowance. What are you waiting for? Just get yourself someone and we will help to take care of both of you. Sometimes it happens, right? So I wanted to chime in and just give the local context in some of these things.
Okay, thank you. Of course, in our Alhamdulillah, Islam is a rich religion, and it even tells us how to identify the right spouse. We are told, the men are told, when you are looking for a spouse, look for a lady you can marry the lady for four things: her wealth, her beauty, her religion, and her
her status.
Yes, her status. So that one already gives you an idea of how to identify that lady. From our African context, sometimes you might find the parents identifying that lady for you.
Yeah.
Apart from that, that's one way of identifying a spouse. The other way is, us at FRC, we have spouse matching, where you can come, tell us you're looking for a spouse, you're a gentleman, you're a lady, we'll give you a form, you will fill it and tell us what kind of spouse are you looking for. We will not promise that we'll give you a person who matches your requirements 100%, but we will see what matches. At least if we can get 60% that you can identify with.
Compatibility.
Yes, then we can put you together, and of course we always know, we know these things, you get to improve them as you live together.
I'd like to believe there's a whole scientific process behind it.
Yes,
okay,
of course.
Great.
Because the more you get to live with people, then you get to adopt to their ways and learn something from them and unlearn other things that you had.
So basically you say the support system that we offer as a people, or we offer as a community right here, is number one, our families sometimes push us into it.
Yes.
They push us into it. Is that a good thing or a bad thing according to you?
It is good, because when the family identifies somebody, maybe it is a person you also have known as you're growing up, because they will not just pick a stranger.
Yeah.
And most of the time, the families, in fact, all the time, we believe the family is working for your good, for our good. So they will not get you to somebody who does not fit, or maybe they are not sure about their lineage. It's somebody that would really want to support you with that. And at FRC, we might not be able to do that background check, but once we have matched the two of you, then it is your responsibilities as the couple to do the background checks for this person you've been matched with.
Okay, so two follow-up questions. Number one, in your opinion, what do you think may be or would be ideal supporting structures for this person who wants to get married and inshallah wants to become a parent, that are currently missing in our community, over and above our parents or the families pushing, and what you guys are offering at Family Resource Center? So in your opinion, what do you think then could be done more to support these people when they are choosing a spouse or when they're of age, right? We're just discussing with Sheikh Gareth, for example, the hadith of Rasulullah, where he said, "Oh, congregation of the youth, whoever amongst you who is capable, then let him marry," right? For indeed that is going to be protection. It's going to help him to get the chastity and help him to lower the gaze, and whoever who is not ready, then let him lower the gaze, for indeed that's going to be protection. So that was a support that he was offering at the time in the context. So in our times, what is your opinion in regards to what more could be offered to the people or to the youngins as they are walking this journey of wanting to marry, settling down and getting a family?
I want to believe that the masajids could do more. The community around could be supporting this person who wants to marry. In that they also know the people around them, so they get to identify this. You need to be marrying, but even this gentleman or this lady who is being told to marry, whom is she marrying? These days we find ourselves, our children come to universities, they meet there, they are very far from their parents. Before you know it, these people have just gone and married. So I think even the marriage Muslim marriage officers, they need to understand that we need to do some checks and balances, so that you just don't marry people because they are in the university. Personally, I know the dean says you do not delay a good thing, but how good is it if you have not put all the checks and balances?
You haven't done your due diligence.
Exactly. Okay. Because after they have graduated, you find if they just got into a marriage of convenience, then you find that they go separate ways. The man disappears. The girl is left. If they already have a child, then she's just left there.
Of course, we're going to get into that. Of course, get into it. But first, you say the mosque should play a better role. The community should play a better role in terms of suggesting suitors.
Yes.
And you also say the Muslim marriage officers should ensure that this couple or this man should be given enough lessons.
Yes.
Right. So, in your matchmaking, where does love come in?
Love grows. Even
because someone would meet somebody and say, "I love this person, so why should I wait for all this process?"
And it's something that I've experienced when I'm doing premarital counseling. They come, they say, "Yes, I think we are compatible." But when we do premarital counseling, by the second session, one of them is wondering whether this is exactly what they want to get into, because they realize there's more to a marriage than just love. Once you get to you are compatible, you discover that you agree on most things. Definitely, as you live together, you will learn to love one another.
Interesting. Very, very interesting.
Love plays a big role, but there are other things that actually play a bigger role.
More than just love.
More than just love.
Even when people say love, unfortunately, a lot people just throw around that word love. They just throw it around without really meaning it, or not really understanding what love actually means, actually is. A lot of times, when people say "I love you," they really mean "I like you." Meaning, I enjoy what I see. I enjoy who I see. I enjoy the superficial. I enjoy what my ego and desires tell me to pursue or choose.
From your experience, how would you define the difference between like and love?
Okay, so I developed something called the TRACES system. Okay. The TRACES system is an acronym that I use in all of my counseling, but specifically in terms of this subject. TRACES is an acronym for trust, respect, appreciation, commitment, empathy, sacrifice. Now, all 6 of those things, if someone claims to love someone and they don't have all 6 of those things, their love is either fake or is weak. Because it's impossible to love someone without all of those 6 things completely. And the respect is the most important. Because absolutely, it's impossible to love someone you don't respect.
So is it now for a man or
both?
Both ways.
Both ways.
Yes.
Wow.
Both ways.
Again, so in respect to your trace, right? Your model, where does love languages come in?
Love is a manifestation of all of those 6 things. That's my point. Because again, if you claim to love someone and you don't have all 6 of those things, like I said, your love is either fake or it's weak. Because
someone would argue and say, listen, there are love languages which have been scientifically proven. Like they say, what act of kindness is it?
Yes.
Affirmation,
right. Touch, physical touch, and quality time.
Right.
The 4 love languages.
Well, since you mentioned quality time, quality time would automatically fall under commitment.
Okay.
If you're committed to someone, obviously you're going to manifest quality time.
So they're all intertwined with the trust.
Yeah, they would have to be. Yeah, like affirmation, right? If you are respectful of someone, if you trust someone, if you empathetic, right? If you appreciate someone, the affirmation. Words of affirmation are a direct manifestation of appreciating someone. Because obviously, if you don't appreciate someone, you're not gonna verbalize affirmation. You would only affirm things for someone who you recognize, who you see, who you appreciate, who you respect, who you trust. So even love languages have to fall under the traces system.
100%. So that is love.
Yeah.
Falls under the trust system.
Yeah.
So the question was, how do you differentiate between love and like? Because you say that some people claim that they love people, yet they only just like.
Yeah.
Yep. So what's the difference between?
Because like is something that's so superficial.
Oh.
So superficial. Like, for example, I have one of my Ma'wis, right? I like this for now. 2-3 years down the line, I may not like Ma'wis ever again. You know what I'm saying? Your Omani Thawb, yeah. Right? You might like it for the moment, right? Just because it looks nice. 2-3 months down the line, you might be like, you know what? I don't even want this no more. That's like.
Okay.
Yeah, you take it very superficial. Yeah, temporary. Yeah, just like the difference between happiness and joy. The difference between as-sa'ada and al-mata', right? The word mata' joy is something very fleeting, something very temporary. You know, we enjoy food, and then after we eat, it's like, all right, whatever.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, just in that moment.
Yeah.
But a sa'ada, happiness, is something that's so transcendent, something that's so long lasting. So love is the same way in comparison to like. Like, it's like you because like, let's say for example, I like chapati, right? I can't say I love chapati. I like it. Like, I'm not committed to eating chapati every single day.
You just like it. When you get it.
Yeah.
When you don't get it, you're fine.
Exactly.
You can get biryani today. You can get something else.
Yeah. Exactly. Okay. Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense. So again, with that background, how would you then translate the in Surah Al-Mujadala bainakum mawaddatan wa rahmah?
Now that is a word. Mawadda is like more like intimacy, meaning close connection, close relationship, and love is like at the root of that.
Okay.
So obviously, there's no way you're going to be invested in someone of that caliber, of that degree, unless you actually really love them. You know, because the human connection between husband and wife is the most intimate of human communication. It's the most intimate of human relationships. Yeah. You know, like there is no bond that unites a person more than husband and wife. That's like the closest bond that's like humanly possible. It's closer than the bond between mother and child, father and child. It's closer than the bond between sibling and sibling.
Interesting. 100%. Thanks so much. Coco, I'd like to come to you and how has the technology and everything to do with it, like the internet, accessibility of information, accessibility of people, how has it really affected your operations for as far as matchmaking, premarital counseling, and make sure that the right processes have been followed prior to these people coming together, creating a family and getting kids and being ready to actually raise kids? Because in technology that allows people to interact, meet, talk, discuss way much before. Some people even get married on phone before they actually meet one another. Yeah.
No, that's a fact. I've personally witnessed that. Yeah.
Yeah. So how has it then impacted, and what is the ripple effect on the marriage later?
Thank you. For us, let me start by telling you what we do at FRC. Once we identify that couple, then we do not allow, we don't even give the other party their phone number, the other's phone number. Yeah. We call them to the office, and they meet in an Islamic environment. Yeah. So they meet there, there's somebody else there. Unfortunately, like you're saying, the issue of technology. Somehow you just find these people have exchanged numbers, and then the whole thing just, they're not following what you've told them to do. And then, now that ripple effect you're asking, they come back when things have not worked. Maybe they went, they even got married, okay, without us knowing. They just disappeared from our radar. Yeah. They got married. Then when things didn't work out, they come back. Oh, this didn't work out. So you are like, what thing didn't work out? How did you even get each other's number?
Oh, you guys lied to me. You guys gave me a wrong person.
Yes, so
you guys did this.
They blame us, but they're the ones who didn't follow the due process.
The steps.
They skipped so many important steps. Yeah.
Like premarital, maybe we didn't even start premarital. They just, like he says, maybe they looked at each other and they say, we have connected.
Fling.
Yes, we've connected.
Vibes check.
Right, exactly. Yeah, yeah.
The vibes are checking.
Right, yeah.
Yes. So it will work out. But there are many things that we had not discussed, and the many things we discuss at the premarital, roles, responsibilities, family issues, because most of us, of course, carry baggage from where we've come from to this marriage.
Yeah.
So we need to know and teach this couple conflict resolution, financial management.
Yeah.
Maybe there are people who never used to even manage their own finances. They're dependent on their families. Once they're getting married, then the family just leave them to start your life. Now you've got to grow up.
Yeah.
Interesting. Now, which is very important. Now let's create a persona. So we have Yusuf. So Yusuf is a young man who is in his early adulthood, and Yusuf has got into a space where either he's pressured by the family or he's made the decision and say, now I want to get married, right? And the first step is that he's looked for recommendations, right? And he's gotten someone that he feels maybe this would work based on how he feels, right? So what are some of the things that Yusuf should look out for, or how should Yusuf then start preparing? You say, one, he should start thinking about spending, life choices, decisions, and all that, right? What are the things then that Yusuf should look for in a woman, right, that would then make him to, inshallah, have a good family? Because he has already done the background check, self-assessment, he's good. He's probably going to IFRC. He's met someone under the stewardship of IFRC, Family Resource Center, FRC, and they like the person. So they're like, now it's time to take it to the next level. So what are some of the things that Yusuf should be looking out for in this lady, in this prospect?
Personally, I would say, and I tell this to Muslim men all the time, if you're interested in a Muslim woman for marriage, let's say, for example, you actually know this person. If you express to this person that you would like to explore marriage, and she says like, okay, but if she doesn't introduce you to her father or whoever her wali, Islamic guardian is, that's a serious red flag. Because if a woman is approached by a man in terms of interest of marriage, that's the first thing she's supposed to do, is introduce him, direct him towards her father or whoever her Muslim guardian is. That should be number one.
Okay. So if she doesn't, can you ask? Should you ask?
No, you should ask, but at the same time, if she is not forthright, let's say, for example, you both express equal interest, but she doesn't bring that up, and y'all just like quote unquote vibing, talking, right?
If the vibes don't check.
Yeah, if that's not the first option on the table, the wali, that's a serious problem.
Run.
Because that's the reason why the wali is there, to make sure that the men don't try nothing slick. That's the purpose.
Okay. So number one, you should check out for that.
Yeah.
Okay. Number two, what else?
I would just leave it at that, because that's gonna predicate how many things end up going right or going wrong.
Okay.
Because just from my experience in the U.S., is that anytime Muslim men who I know personally, who have expressed their interest in marrying a woman, and that situation did not directly involve the conversation about the wali, literally the first time, a lot of times disastrous results took place.
Interesting. Well understood. Coco, you hold this view?
No, yes, I do, but I would also want to add, sometimes that issue of visit my wali does not come up the first time. And that's why we encouraged, okay, the next time you want to meet, you just come to our office, meet. Because this lady, and even Yusuf, would want some time to think about it, internalize, reflect.
And that's what you're talking about. So when he's thinking, when he's thinking about this prospect,
yes,
what questions should he ask? What should he check out for? So Gareth here said that one of the things is that to check out for is if the wali's number is not one of the things placed on the table, then it's a serious red flag. And as we say in Nairobi, Murife run.
What does that mean?
So Murife is basically just from a skit, social media skit, where someone by the name Murife, all right, was being chased by a puppy, and then the mother was shouting, Murife, Murife, run!
Oh, okay.
So basically that, so just extracted that Murife.
Yeah. Okay. Right. Okay. Right. Yeah.
I think I would want to give this couple a second chance. If because if she shows up the second time, it means she has developed some interest, and she feels like, yes, maybe this one we can try. So the next thing is she should just say, I have parents or I have a guardian. So if you are interested, maybe that is where we need.
So in this meeting that they're meeting, and for him to establish whether he's interested or not, what should he ask? What are the questions he should check? What are some of the green or red flags for him to check?
Actually, it's just asking. You see, Yusuf already knows what kind of woman he wants.
So he doesn't know. He's green. That's why we're here.
He knows. Even when we have pushed you to go and look for a spouse.
Yes.
Meaning like who your type is.
Yes.
Yeah.
You found this girl and say, yeah, this one I think maybe we can have a family.
You guys are here.
Ask the questions.
So we are here talking about.
What do you like?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because a lot when people ask those type of questions, right? People try to use like hashtag answers. Oh, I want someone who loves Allah. I want someone who feels Allah.
Wake me up for Fajr.
Yeah.
And your mother is struggling to get for Fajr every day.
Right. It's like, dude, like you can't remember.
Romanticizing the deen.
Yeah, exactly. Fetishizing. Yeah, fetishizing even. It's like, how dare you expect someone to wake you up for Fajr when you don't remember the last time you woke yourself up for Fajr? It's like that's completely fanciful.
So let them ask. What do you like? The likes and the dislikes.
And that's what we're here to ask. Okay, so don't ask those questions then. What should you ask? What should you check out for? Right? What should you ask? What like? Okay. The most common answer it possibly get, right? In Nairobi or Kenya or brother from the community is, Sheikh Sutel, you know, our Rasul said a lady is married for 4. To farfar bidati din. So what is that din? How do you check that din? How do you know this person has din? What question should you ask to establish this person has din or not? She does how many times she prays? Should Yusuf ask how many sunnah fasts she fasts every month? Should she ask how many rakahs she prays?
How many times she wakes up?
Exactly.
So
I mean, personally, I'm not against those types of questions. Those questions might, depending on who's having the conversation, those questions may be tedious. But me personally, I'm not against those types of questions because if you want a certain type of person, because you're trying to be a certain type of person, then feel free to ask whatever questions you want, as long as they're not Islamically inappropriate questions. Then feel free to ask those questions. And a lot of times we are afraid to ask certain types of questions because we don't want to fall out of the umbrella of like pseudo pious, fake righteous. We feel like, oh, I shouldn't ask this question because it's not like a righteous question.
It's not appropriate.
Those type of things. But
cancel culture, we're gonna be canceled.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And then what you mentioned about asking those like quote unquote religious questions, right? Even in terms of us as human beings, we have these expectations for other people that we don't even hold for ourselves. We have the audacity and the arrogance to expect a certain person who we want to be our spouse or potential spouse, we want them to fit all of these criterion, right? All of these criteria, we want them to check all of these boxes. We don't check any of the boxes. We want this person to be this way, to be that way. We want this person to go to Duksi and Madrasa and university and right, yeah. And we can't even remember the last time we opened the Book of Allah.
No. Okay.
We want someone who's a hafiz or a hafidha. We can't even remember the last time we've read the Quran.
So are there parameters, guys? I'm still going back there. Are there parameters that teacher should work with, or is this an open-ended question depending on who he is and what he wants?
For me, I believe that all those questions you think Yusuf needs to ask would come up if they were to attend premarital, because that's where we dig deep into your personality. What do you like? On how do you do these things? Because there it will be superficial, because even the girl herself is not sure whether she wants. She's not sure at that moment. So she might just answer what you want to hear. Okay?
Give you cosmetic answers.
But when we get into the premarital, then we discuss it deeply, because I will ask the question, I will expect an answer from Yusuf and from Khadija. Okay? And then they can each listen to one another and get to say, okay, I didn't expect that, or that's not what I'm looking for.
Okay.
And that would be able to help him or her to either move on with the process or just say no.
Okay, great. So if I get you correctly, then Gareth is saying one thing that Yusuf should check out for is if the wali conversation is placed at the table. If yes, proceed. If no, Murife,
run.
Yeah.
Right? That's
yeah.
Right. So and Coco, what you're trying to say is that it's very difficult to define the parameters, but you need to start with the premarital counseling.
Yes.
Is that what I'm getting?
Oh no, that's definitely a must.
That's the must.
Yeah, but in the United States specifically, almost every single person I know personally who has gotten married, who has refused to accept premarital counseling or has purposely dodged premarital counseling, most of their marriages never lasted beyond a year.
Wow.
Dead serious.
Wow.
And more so in this era of technology. You see, they always feel that they can go to Google and Google will tell them how to react. Google will tell them.
No, it's ChatGPT nowadays. It's AI.
No, really, like trying to get nasiha from AI is wild. It's wild. like you're trying to get nasiha from a non-human entity, which is designed by non-Muslims anyway.
But that's what they follow. And they
really.
want to implement it in their life. Definitely, that won't work.
Okay. And then they get angry when the consequences don't complement their expectations. What did you expect? You sought nasiha from a non-human entity, from non-revelation.
And
a
non-Muslim. And you're a Muslim.
Right.
So what did you expect?
What did you expect to happen? Yeah.
Interesting. Guys, how do you go about it? If you're Yusuf outside there, if you're Khadija outside there, how would you go about it? Please let us know in the comments, man, because this is getting hot inside here. It's getting hot inside, and we're still in the journey to make this young man an ideal parent in today's day and age, right? So, okay, Yusuf does all the right things. He gets into marriage and they are with Khadija. They finally decided, no, guys, we're settling. So how do you start introducing this whole parenting conversations, and what guidelines then should you follow so as to ensure that you are on the right path?
I would suggest that anyone who's married, who's not a parent yet, or even before you get married, have real, genuine conversations with people who have been married for a long time, who've been through the growing pains of what it means to struggle in a marriage, and by Allah's help, to come out on top, to get wisdom, to get hikmah from people who have children, who know what it's like to manage a family, to manage the growing pains of raising children. A lot of times, in terms of like our ego.
Yeah.
We don't want to humble ourselves and go under the wing of people who have that experience. We feel like, oh, we know it all, or this is our time and your time has passed. It's arrogance. Yeah, really.
Is it really?
Yeah. Huh?
Is it really arrogance?
Yes, because if you're freshly going into something, and you purposely go out of your way to not at least seek advice from someone who has preceded you in that, that's arrogance. Because even if the person is dead wrong about their assessment, we should still be able to learn from someone even if they're wrong. So worst case scenario, we learn what not to do.
So how do you balance that with the fact that what people often say that every marriage is different? You may hear advice from 100 people, but again, you still end up getting a totally different thing.
No, that's true. But we should at least allow ourselves to be humble and open to at least hear different perspectives.
Okay.
Because it's always going to be a case-by-case basis. At the same time, there are certain, this is just the way Allah has set it up, there's certain universal things that govern all human behaviors, even though those things might manifest differently. Relationships are one of those things. Marriage is one of those things. Obviously, there's no such thing as a perfect marriage because there's no such thing as a perfect person. But we try our best to constantly pursue a tahseen, improvement. But one of the ways to arrive at a tahseen, improvement, is to seek nasiha, correction, advice from those who have done it before.
Okay. That makes a lot of sense. Now, Coco,
I just wanted to add to that. You see, even as a parent, Yusuf and Khadija, they're getting married.
They're getting married.
So how will they be good parents? They have been brought up.
What conversation should they have about parenting first?
They need to understand.
What are some of the questions they should ask one another?
You see, this they need to ask each other. How was it when you were growing up? First of all, start from where you came from.
Your upbringing, your background.
Exactly. First, start from where you came from, and see, your parents didn't do everything right, but also again, they didn't do everything wrong. So pick the positives from where you've come from, bring them on the table. I bring my positive also, and we see what do we pick, what do we leave out, because it's a learning process. Even parenting, it's a learning process, and more so these days. When we were growing up, there was no technology.
Definitely not to this extent. Like communication as we know it was non-existent in comparison, right?
In comparison. But now there's too much. Even when you say, I don't want to bring up my children the way I was brought up. What do you mean? Did your parents make a mistake all through? You would not be where you are right now.
So you really need to define the kind of parenting you want.
Exactly. And just build up on the positives that your parents started. And again,
of course, based on your perspective.
Yes. Okay. And then again, just so long as it's working and you are a good person, a person who can express themselves, because again, you don't want to bring up a child who is not confident.
Okay.
So that's why I say parenting means you support your child spiritually, physically, emotionally, all these ways.
That's interesting. Gareth?
No, I agree with Coco 100%. Yeah, definitely. Try your best to always put your best foot forward in spite of your background. And that's why I said in the beginning is that the difference between a father or a mother and a parent is that a parent is always fully invested in the well-being of their children so that they have a better human life experience than they had. But that involves what you mentioned, filtering out our negative experiences so that when we offer our children ourselves, we only offer them the best of ourselves.
And being a parent means being present. What do you mean by being present? Being present in the child's life. Not just being present by providing, you need to be there physically, emotionally.
Well, that's a form of provision. Honestly, that's a form of risk.
But that's okay. But some parents, they think that just because I've paid the house, I've provided the food, and I don't need to be there. Why does this?
That's a huge mistake. Yeah.
That is now where parenting goes south.
Yeah, because there's so many social ills which take place as a direct result of the lack of presence of the father or the mother or both. Yeah.
Great, we're having a conversation now. So what are the parenting roles of each, and what are the collective parenting roles? And this is saying, so what are some of the conversations that these people should have, right? So even before we get into the roles, so let's start with the digits. Do numbers, or can numbers of the children be a case for separation? For example, Yusuf wants 5 children, Khadija wants 2 children. Can this be, for example, a deal breaker? Is it justified enough to be a deal breaker in your considered opinions?
It depends on personal taste. I mean, to consider that a deal breaker, I would argue that that's something rather foolish.
Okay.
But people, they have al-mashi'ah, they have free will. If a person doesn't want more than such and such children, then that's between them. But at the same time, if you are having sexual intercourse, right, unprotected, you have to expect that you're going to get pregnant. That's just a natural. It's a probability.
Yeah.
That you know, and we have to remember, Allah, just like Coco mentioned, Allah is the one who provides children.
Yeah.
We just do the mechanics that humanly facilitated, but Allah is the one who provides the children. So as long as you keep doing those human mechanisms, you should expect that there's a high probability that Allah exactly.
No.
So if you really want to be that technical, if you don't want more children, why are you having sex? Why are you married? Why are you with a person? Because realistically, as long as you keep doing that, especially if the man doesn't have fertility issues, the woman doesn't have fertility issues,
then you should expect.
So,
in other words, you also hold the same view that it should not be a deal breaker.
No, it shouldn't be, because in the first place, and these are some of the things we will discuss in the premarital, like how many children would you want to have? How many children would Khadija want to have? And then they can reach a compromise and agree. In that same breath, we need to express to them that, yes, I might want 5 children, but Allah will only grant me 2.
Okay.
So what happens? Will Yusuf divorce me because I can't get the 5?
Get another wife.
Get another wife, which is so this one.
That's another piece to the puzzle we got to talk about.
Now.
We got to go there. We can't run from that one.
Yeah. But again, so before that, so we are there. They've decided a number of children that they want. We're good. So the type of parenting. One thing that I really got from you is you need to define the kind of parenting you want. You say, I don't want to raise my children the way I was raised. So you need to define it.
Yes, the person needs to define. Maybe, what I hear most people tell me is that I don't want to deny my children what I didn't get.
Wow.
But in actual fact, it's not that you are denied, it's because your parents couldn't afford it. They didn't have it then.
So you extend them some grace.
Exactly. So they gave you the best they could at that particular time.
Relative to their capabilities.
So what are the tools that will help this person define the kind of parenting they want? How do they do?
I would say gratitude is one. Being grateful for your own upbringing.
Okay.
Specifically, if you were Muslim born, if you were raised Muslim. Like you mentioned, when people say, oh, I don't want to be raised, I don't want to raise my children the way I was raised.
Yeah.
We have to really be truthful and honest about how we were raised. Were we ever violated? Were we ever sexually abused? Were we ever physically or spiritually or emotionally abused? Were we ever denied food? Were we ever denied clothing?
Okay.
Were we ever denied an education? If you check the boxes for no, that these things never happened, then you're basically a brat who's spoiled. Pretty much.
Oh, wow.
You just want to complain all day.
You want to complain.
You just want to complain all day. If none of these negative things happen to you, if you weren't tested with any of these negative things, then how dare you complain about your upbringing? Even regardless of whether you grew up Muslim or not, if those negative things did not happen to you, you need to be grateful to Allah every single moment of your life that those negative things didn't happen to you. Okay. And you should be grateful to the parents that you had because those things didn't happen to you. Okay. Regardless of whether things turned out that you, quote unquote, didn't like, going back to like and love, right? Mm-hmm. Like, for example, I'm gonna use myself as an example. I never had a pair of sneakers that cost more than $100 when I was growing up, right? I got a job, I can afford what I want now. So my mother wasn't, especially after my father died, my mother wasn't big on materialism, right? She would just buy whatever she could afford. Mm-hmm. I had resentment, right? At the same time, looking back, Islamically, I'm obligated to be grateful for the fact that she raised me that way because it liberated me, it freed me, it gave me a necessary healthy distance from materialism. Mm-hmm. So now I can wear whatever I want and I don't care if it doesn't have labels on it. We have people, they literally won't buy anything that doesn't have a marketed label that isn't quote unquote name brand. Yeah. Like people are really wired that way. You know? And you have people who I literally grew up with, Muslim and non-Muslims, who I've known my entire life. They have the audacity to complain about their parents, their fathers or their mothers, for not giving them stuff. But yet they gave them a roof over their head. They made sure that their bellies were never full. They made sure that no one was creeping at night, violating them. They protected them, they shielded them from those negative things, and they still have the audacity to complain about their upbringing.
Now, I just wanted to interject and say, even if you were brought up by a parent who was very strict in the rules that you had to do, like you had to do the chores, participate in the chores in the house. Right. I know for us, we had timetables, who was supposed to cook, who was supposed to do the washing, and all that.
Regardless of your gender.
It didn't break us.
Right.
In fact, if anything, it built us.
Yeah.
Okay.
So look at it. Even that you are calling negative, did it build you?
Right.
Did it make you into a better person?
Did it make you more responsible?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So not every negative
was a negative. You're right.
Yes.
Okay. Interesting. So you had duties and chores regardless of your gender.
Yes.
Which now brings me to that point that I'm asking. So if they're at that point where they're discussing parenting and they're discussing roles, right? Should it be defined by their sexuality? Like you're a man, so you're going to handle X, Y, Z. You're a woman, going to handle X, Y, Z, right?
In certain things, yes, and in certain things, no. I'll give an example about domestic duties. Mm-hmm. Domestic duties have has never been gender-centric Islamically. Mm-hmm. We know this because there's ahadith, there's narrations in which Muhammad, peace be upon him, he did household chores. He did household duties. There's a narration, one of the wives of Muhammad, may Allah be pleased with her, she said, the Messenger of Allah was so helpful at home, I didn't have anything to do. That's a stark contrast into what Muslim men
are doing today. Okay. So let me just throw in some context, right? And this is the typical Nairobi businessman context. And this is what somebody told me. Say, you know, Faisal, as a man, you can do everything you possibly want to do. You can help with the chores, you can help with the diapers, you can help with everything. But again, if you fail at your primary responsibility, nobody's going to look at everything you've done. If you fail at primary responsibility in terms of providing the diapers when they're needed, providing the milk when they're needed, then nobody's going to remember how many times you've changed the diaper.
That's a fact. That's true. It's unfortunate, but it's true.
You wash the baby, right? But again, you need to take care of your primary responsibility. And sometimes taking care of this primary responsibility requires a person to be out more than the stipulated 8 hours. So would you then describe this person as a failed parent?
I wouldn't dare say that they're a failure. I would say that they have to constantly and consistently refine their priorities. I wouldn't call them a failure. Mm-hmm. Because just like Coco mentioned, is that fulfilling monetary needs is not the only sifa, it's not the only dimension or manifestation of a rizq, provision. Providing that quality time, that presence, that's a form of rizq as well.
If you can.
Yeah, relative to capability, right? But I'm glad you mentioned that about how a man can do anything and all of these things, but if he's not getting to the bag, he's still going to be looked at as a loser. But it's ironic that you mention that, because when Allah says men are responsible for women above a degree, by a degree, that's the primary thing that Allah says, because they spend out of what we've provided for them. So even though all of those things, they equally matter, but they don't matter the same way as in terms of getting to the bag, financial responsibility. And that's why Allah highlights the financial responsibility, because that's the primary focus universally. Even prior to the revelation of the Quran, other nations, Muslims from other nations, that's always been the primary focus of being financially grounded. So that way your family don't have to want or need from others other than the breadwinner.
Beautiful. So much as some of these things, they should be moving in parallel, right? But most of the time, a lot of complaints I've had, a lot of people have had, of course, with the exception of very few percentage, many are usually quite polarizing. Financial provision vis-a-vis quality time provision, Coco. So how would you reconcile that in the current demographic of parenting crisis?
Financial provision is the responsibility of the man. And the running of the house is the responsibility of the lady. She's the number one madrasa for her children. Okay? So she needs to be there. She needs to ensure that these children have good akhlaq. But it's not her duty alone. The man must participate.
At what level though? And that's the thing, because we established the way financial responsibility is the primary responsibility for this man.
That's fine. Just like Gareth has said, he needs to make time for his family, for his children. Whether he is going to look for this financial stability, to be able to provide for his family, he also needs to make, because like we say,
subject to availability.
There's no subject. It is a conscious decision that he needs to make. It's a conscious decision that he needs to make and say, either I will be seeing my children in the morning before I go to work, or I'll make sure I get to the house before they sleep.
See, the most beautiful thing about this thing is that we have extreme sides of the coin, and the advantage that I have here is Allah has blessed me to have interacted with a lot of people, so I have all the perspectives. So one of the perspectives that I have is someone that I've met once and told me that they were so busy in their lives that they didn't have enough time to interact with their children. But ironically, his brothers had time and they would visit the children, and the children knew the brothers as uncle. So it got to a point that even him, when he'd come home, the children would refer to him as uncle.
Yes.
Right? So that's one end. The other end is when we are living in a world right now in Nairobi where people are romanticizing and over-glorifying the hustle culture and the entrepreneurship culture. Even though I have a problem with how they define entrepreneurship nowadays, right? But it's been glorified and it is really being misrepresented to an extent now. A number of reels or short clips you come across on digital media now, some people like successful businessmen talking about how having a balanced life is the biggest scam in the 21st century, especially when you're building something. So what they say is that you need someone who's going to be home, who's going to understand the late nights, and going to understand the early mornings, and understand that you will have to miss some holidays. You will have to miss the dinners. You will have to miss the breakfast. You will have to miss the hosting parties, because you're building something for them, right? And that's why I was asking the question: how do Yusuf and Khadija strike a balance so that they have a perfect parenting at home?
Well, since you mentioned that, it's not Islamically acceptable to be that detached from your family. Mm-hmm. Because realistically, what's the point of being married to someone if you only see them 2-3 weekends out of a 6-month period? Mm-hmm. You gone 5-6 months at a time. You don't get to see your children grow up. You don't get to see your child missing their. You don't get to witness your child's first steps. You don't get to witness your child's first tooth coming out. All these milestones you're missing. You're literally missing out on the lives of your children. What's the point of being in a family unit when you're not part of the unit? And one of the things that's very decrepit in our modern society is that people think money is everything. No, money is a thing. Money is an important thing. It's a vital thing. It's a crucial thing. We know that because Allah mentions it. Allah mentions it. When Allah says men are responsible for women by a degree, Allah mentions financial responsibility. Yeah. At the same time, that's not the only responsibility. A lot of us, we literally breaking our necks pursuing an illusion that most people who pursue that don't get it anyway. Now, I'm not saying don't pursue your ambitions, but at what cost to those who you're responsible for?
So basically, you're bringing in the aspect of moderation.
Yes.
But it has to be defined.
It has to be defined.
Because it is relative from person to person. That's true.
And then again, what's the point of you bringing all this money and then you do not know what kind of akhlaq that have been instilled in your child? They, like Gareth said, they become brats.
Yeah.
All they do is ask. They ask. You have not been there to tell them that you do not need this. This will work. You don't have to have labeled shirts and labeled shoes. Even this one can get you to school. They're
like the birds in the nest. They just have their mouths open. That's it.
Okay. Yeah. So let's look at another funny issue. At least that we've really clarified that everything should be done in moderation. So let's talk about career women. Let's talk about women who are in business. Let's talk about women who want to pursue their career and still wants to be active members of their family. So we do have people who want to do that, right? And sometimes it's a point of conflict whereby you find, in this case, Yusuf wants his wife, once they get children, to stop pursuing her career and to stay back at home and raise the children, and he will provide 100% for her and for the children. So she should focus solely on raising the children and ensuring the children are of right age, are of right character.
But if
Khadija is pushing back and say, we have helps who can do that job, and I want to do my career. I've studied all the way to master's, PhD. How would I do that? I am a CEO of this and this company. I may have inherited it or I may have built it myself. So how would I just drop it like a hot potato just because you say so and you're telling me to drop it? Why should I drop it because you said it?
And that's where compatibility lies. Because just like you mentioned, you have to know what you're built for. Certain men are not built for career women. Certain women are not built for being a stay-at-home wife, a stay-at-home mom. Because that's either what they're not used to, either growing up, or that's simply what they don't want to do. And then you have certain women who don't even want children. You have certain men who don't want children.
That's true.
That's real. Yeah. And then also in terms of expectation, we tend to be very idealistic, but not very realistic. We'll have all of these ideals prior to the marriage. Once you get married, it's a whole different ballgame because things change. Things always change. And when children come in the picture, exactly, yeah. So now you're like, oh my God, what did I do? I have these children I gotta feed. What did I put myself into?
Once they come, they don't go back.
Exactly, yeah.
They're already here. Yeah. They're part of your life. They don't go back.
Exactly, yeah.
But just to respond to your question on what does Yusuf do or what does Khadija do? How long? You see, they can always agree. Can we manage with you in your career? Because, and like you said, I have this person who will take care of the children.
Yeah.
But even the mother must have an input. Yes. She might not be there throughout, but isn't she also contributing into this household with whatever she's bringing? Then what happens to her once the children have grown, they've gone to school, and then she has the whole day to herself? What will she do? Where will her career be? So it is good now that we are giving some and give and take. You agree, moderation, and you compromise on one thing and another. But so long as both of you commit to being there for the children.
So are there things maybe that they should look out for them to come to that decision? Let's say, for example, they've come to a compromise and say, okay, I'm going to pause my career for 3 years, let the kids, until our last born baby, let's say they've agreed to have 4 kids, and they say until our fourth born baby is 3 years, then I'll be able to go back to work. So let's say they've agreed on that model or on that formula. Are there things to look out for? Are there things that they should use to gather a conversation?
I think it's the commitment, and they need to be sure about the trust. Can I trust Faisal not to abandon me just because I have dropped my career? Then he abandons me with my children, and then I don't have a fallback plan.
Or should there be insurances or assurances?
There should be assurances.
Definitely. Or just like you mentioned, if he abandons you as a result of you dropping your career, you have to worry about the probability or possibility or plausibility of a man abandoning a woman because she decides to keep her career. Because you'll have some men, they'll be like, oh well, she got the finances. I ain't got to do much. I ain't got to, and they'll use that as a pseudo justification to not be in the picture. And that's one of the reasons how and why fatherlessness across the Muslim world is at an all-time high, because you have these men, they just, okay, let me just use her as a baby maker, and let me just go off and do what I want to do, and she's going to hold the fort down. That happens all the time.
And I tend to agree with you, and this is a weakness that we've come across. We are a couple, so I start, the man has difficulty in raising rent, so I chip in. I chip in the first month, chip in the second month. By the third month, the man has abandoned his responsibility.
Because if you're comfortable, you can do it, so I should.
And here I was just doing it to help each, he's my husband. So we are here to...
But did you set it clearly when you started?
Yes, we do it. Okay. These women really say, let me do it. So what the women have tended to do now, they say, I am going to borrow and you will pay. Even if it's coming from their pocket. Then they say, I'm going to borrow and you will pay. So it's not me you're paying.
This is just a Pandora's box that we've opened.
The plot thickens. Yeah.
I know, man, about responsibilities in the house. But anyway, we're talking about parenting today. I want to deviate much into that. But again, so there's a funny story about a guy who has been paying rent for 16 years, only to find out that the landlady of the house was actually the wife.
I heard about that.
16 years, man.
That's diabolical.
You're paying rent, man.
That's okay. Yes.
That's deception.
It's not.
No.
If it's your responsibility to pay rent, does it matter who the landlady or?
Yes, it does. Yes.
No.
Yes.
The owner of the house was living in the wife.
No. You know why? You know why that's deception? Because realistically, all of that rent, you guys could have saved that money and maybe put that towards a house. as opposed to making the husband be a rent. Because this is where it comes to like partnership, right? Obviously, we know that the man is the sole provider financially. At the same time, don't jump out the window to break the man's back. If you have property, if you're a property owner as a woman, right? If you're a property owner, you're married to a man, you're gonna make your husband pay the rent as opposed to setting that money aside so that he can possibly build something bigger from it. That's wild.
What did I just say? I can choose to help my husband pay the rent, but if I pay that rent 2 months, 3 months, he abandons his responsibility.
No, we're not talking about a person. No.
So
we're not talking. No. We're not talking about a person who's a bum. We're not talking about that type of person. We're talking about the scenario that he's talking about. Yeah. This person was fully committed to paying the rent. He wasn't dodging.
For 16 years.
For 16 years.
Yes.
Even 20 years.
Okay.
We have to flush this out.
No. What we can do is, fine, you have been paying the rent to the wife.
Right.
You did not know. So what's the problem?
No.
What do you want her to do?
No. What I mean by that is, let's say, because again, we agree that the man and the woman are supposed to function as a unit, right? So it should be a team effort in these type of things, right? That money that man paid to his wife, that money could have been saved to invest in a business for growing income. That money could have been put to better use.
You don't know what she did with the money. Maybe she was using this money to help her parents. They're still her responsibility. So maybe she has those other obligations. And without this income from the husband, then where would she be getting? This husband will not give me money to help my parents every month.
So we go back.
No. But wait, hold on. If the man is willing to pay the rent, what makes you think that the man wouldn't be willing to give you extra money for your parents?
Maybe she had tried.
I mean, well,
Most probably
in all justice and all fairness, we don't know every piece of the puzzle.
Exactly.
I'm going to safely assume if the man, it's obvious that the man wasn't a bum because he was paying the rent, right? So assuming that he wasn't that, I don't think that particular man in that position, you would have to twist his arm to give extra money to help your parent.
I also want to believe that this lady needed that money to do something.
Self-assumptions. Okay.
I mean, you sure know how to use 70 excuses.
I think
you know what I mean.
I think these are self-assumptions, right? And it's important that we just have this to rest and then just go back to parenting and look at very important thing of the whole aspect of parenting in the event that, let's say, Yusuf and Khadija does not work, right? 6 years into the marriage, or rather just 1 or 2 years into the marriage, and they agree to go their separate ways, and they have children, right? And it sort of brings in this peculiar condition of what they decide to define as deadbeat parenting. Yusuf had a good job. Yusuf was doing well, and Yusuf decided to become an entrepreneur. So the tap that was flowing, the financial cycle that was there, it's no longer there. Yet Khadija still can provide. She's okay. And Yusuf decides to take a break. Why? Because he wants to stabilize himself back, and then so that they can jump back into the children's life. But again, in this process here, there's a lot of exchanges that are happening. Words, letters from lawyers, letters from judges and the qadis and all that, and name calling starts, including deadbeat fathers or deadbeat parents.
Yeah.
So that's what I really want to talk about a bit. How would you define a deadbeat father? Specifically.
A deadbeat father is something that's very well defined already universally. It means a man who makes a diligent decision to abandon his children. Purposeful, deliberate decision
Abandon in what way?
In every way. In every way.
Emotionally?
In every way. Yeah.
So if it happens that he abandons them, let's say in financially, but again still physically there or emotionally.
I'm talking about in all aspects.
Okay. So if in all aspects, then he's a deadbeat.
Yes.
But again, if he still keeps tabs in either one, then
he may be a deficient parent, but you can't call him a deadbeat. Okay. If he's active in any way, we have to be merciful and patient with him, because at least that's a sign that he's trying. But if he's not doing anything, then yeah, he's a deadbeat. Or if he is strategically only doing certain things and not advancing to go full throttle. Because some men, they don't have the potential to be a full throttle parent.
Yeah.
Some men, they have the potential to be a full throttle parent, but yet they choose not to. We're talking about those guys, the guys who completely refuse to do nothing. And or the men who purposely refuse to function relative to their capability. Now, the men who are diligently operating relative to their capability, but they've fallen short, we can't call them deadbeats. But the ones who fail to operate relative to their capability, yeah, those are deadbeats. And or the men who purposely do nothing at all, yeah, those are deadbeats.
Totally agree with what Gareth has said. If they are capable, let them do according to their capability. But don't abandon the children. I have a problem with parents, and more so men, who abandon. They divorce the wife and they divorce the children.
Which is haram, right? Because you're never supposed to divorce your children, right? Because they're part of you. Yeah.
You had a disagreement with this woman. These children didn't choose to be born by you people, but you brought them into this world.
Yeah.
So please take responsibility. Take care of them in no matter how small way. Let them not miss you in their lives. Let them always know that Daddy is there and we can always get to him. But if you abandon them, don't cry later in life when they say they do not know you.
Okay. So how does to build?
And it's not just about fathers, even mothers. Some mothers, once they divorce with their husbands, they take the children.
They purposely keep the children from the father. Yeah.
Yes, they deny.
Use it as a weapon.
They deny
as leverage.
The children. Others take the children to their fathers, and they do not have anything to do with those children.
Yeah.
They totally ignore the children.
They essentially become deadbeat mothers.
Deadbeat mothers,
right.
Yes. And then they just show up when they hear good things are happening to the children.
To just save face for appearances. Yeah.
No.
Okay.
Let's take responsibility.
So how does to build two scenarios, right? And I would like answers from both Islamic perspective and psychological perspective. So Yusuf and Khadija does not work, right? And they decide to go their separate ways. So should there be connection, direct connection between them? Does the Sharia allow for them to have direct communication, or it has to go through a wali?
That's a good question. If the woman is not married, then obviously she has to go back to who her wali was, like her father, what have you. Since they're no longer married, the best recourse is for the ex-husband to only communicate with the wali of that woman.
And not the woman himself,
yes.
Or herself directly.
Yeah, exactly. And if communication must be had, then it must only be pertaining to the affairs of the children, full stop. If it's not about the children, we ain't got nothing to talk about. That's how it should be. That's how it's supposed to be.
So if it happens...
Or let's say, for example, if she's married, right? The most Islamically correct recourse is for him to only communicate with the new husband of his ex-wife. And if communication between the ex-husband and the ex-wife must be had, again, it is only about the affairs of the children. If it's not about the children, we ain't got nothing to discuss.
So what is the psychological impact of that? Both to both of them and the kid on the development of the child.
You see, if they keep the conversation going, at least they are on friendly terms.
Or respectful terms.
Respectful terms, you see? They can have this conversation. And like Garrett says, it's about the children because they have nothing else in common. They only have the children in common. So they should only be discussing about the children. What this does to the children is that they realize they are not the reason their parents went separate ways. So it gives them mental stability that they can talk. It's okay, they're talking about us, and that is a good thing. But when the father, the mother, they start throwing words, abusing one another in front of these children, whether they're divorced or not, that makes a very bad picture, and it psychologically affects the children. Especially
depending on how old the children are. And I'm glad you mentioned that. One of the most important conversations that most divorcees don't have with their children who are the products of a broken home via divorce, they don't tell the children word for word, you did not do this. You were not the reason why mommy and daddy are not together. Because exactly.
That it's not their fault.
Exactly.
That the daddy and mommy went separate ways.
Exactly. Because by human nature, a child is gonna absorb that burden. They're gonna think, oh, because I'm the extra mouth that has to be fed, it caused a burden and a wedge.
So they went separate ways.
Yeah, and a lot of people who come from broken homes, they carry this trauma with them, and it's unjustified because they were tolerated and they were allowed to carry that burden because of the apathy of the father and the apathy of the mother. They just let it happen because they didn't want to deal with those uncomfortable conversations.
That are very important to have, either.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So what we're establishing is that there is likely to be impact if some of these conversations are not had.
Exactly. And this is why Allah says, and never let your hatred against any people prevent you from behaving justly. Yeah. What ends up happening is that a lot of times divorcees, they'll literally use the divorce as a pseudo justification to battle against each other, to attack each other. It's like, oh, see, I should have never married you, and this is not the third. This happens all the time, you know?
They tend to always talk badly about the other partner.
On purpose, in the presence of the children.
In the presence of the children,
yeah.
Which is not good.
Yeah.
Wow. Guys, we are overriding with 11 minutes, and we were supposed to finish this conversation by 4 p.m. But of course, yeah, we overrode because we started a bit late. But one thing I do realize is that this conversation is so packed. This topic is so packed, rather. I really try to unpack it in the preparation, but no matter how much I unpack it, there's still some closed points that we're not even touched on, right? But by and large, my biggest take home is that we've been able to set a very solid foundation from this conversation. And my biggest take home from Brother Garrett Brand, and of course I'm going to give an opportunity to give you a parting shot, but my biggest parting shot from you is the consciousness, the conscious parenting, let me say that. It's a conscious parenting. It's one making the conscious decision that they're going to be a parent, they're going to be a husband, they're going to have extra responsibilities, and they should live by that.
Yeah, it's a daily commitment. It's not just something we do when we feel like it.
Yeah, so that's one of my biggest takeaways from you. So even in all your answers that followed through, I think that was the layered foundation, right? My biggest takeaway from Coco is the fact that you need to prepare. And the best way to prepare is premarital counseling, where you have as much as possible sorted in those conversations. And again, I dare say that even in your successive answers throughout the show was that you emphasize on that point that people need to prepare. And one of the best ways to prepare is to go through premarital counseling, correct?
Yes.
That's what
let me just add something on that.
As your parting shot as well.
That's fine. You see, like in our culture, we will always get the girl, the aunties will sit her down, tell her how to be a good wife, how to run her house, and all that. We were all sat down and we were told. I always ask myself, who sits down with a young man? Who sits Yusuf down and tells him, these are your responsibilities, this is what you need to be doing, and this is how you bring up your children? Who sits down with a man? The girl, even before they come for the premarital counseling, the aunties have sat her down, the mother has sat her down. If she has older sisters, they've given her advice. Plus what she has seen, then she brings it into the marriage. As a parting shot, I would want to say, parenting. Parenting, I take it like you are putting up a special, or you are growing a farmer who is growing a special crop. You start by preparing the soil, getting the right seedlings, preparing even with the manure if you need be. And then once you have planted, you weed the bud, the weeds. You remove everything that will interfere with the growth of that crop.
Before rainy season.
Yes, and then when the rain comes, you are watering it, make sure it has the right, it's growing in the right conditions. Okay? Then, of course, after that, you expect a good harvest, just like children. So we need to nurture them from the word go. Prepare them even as they're growing up. Weed out the bad elements that will be surrounding them. Maybe bad friends, maybe bad influences, and all that.
Awesome. That's amazing. Brother Gar, your parting shot.
Yeah, so in terms of society, obviously the foundation of society is home life. And one of the things that Allah has allowed me to learn through my profession as a chaplain is that at least 50% of all fawahish, vices that occur in society, they're directly predicated on domestic life or things that go wrong in domestic life. If we as Muslims can successfully attack the fawahish, the vices that directly affect domestic life, with Allah's help, we can eradicate 50% of the world's problems, the world's vices. That can only be possible if we have healthy marriages. Because when we have healthy marriages, when we have healthy parenting, when we have healthy co-parenting, there's so many vices that will vanish. Like, I'll give you an example. It's a known fact that people who have positive relationships with their biological fathers, they're less probable of being domestically abusive. They're less probable of tolerating or accepting domestic abuse. They're less probable of being a sexual predator. They're less probable of being a victim and casualty of sexual predatism or sexual abuse. They're less probable of being a gang member. They're less probable of leading a life of crime, right? They're less probable of being suicidal. They're less probable of being a runaway. You get all of these things that are less probable to happen by just having positive relationships with one's biological father. Because the problem is that we live in societies where we think that the woman should just do the bulk of things or do everything. No, it's a shared responsibility. Now, obviously, we know that
it has to be defined.
It has to be defined, but how to define it is relative. But what's not relative is the fact that both father and mother have a responsibility.
Have to contribute to the upbringing of this child.
Exactly, and both have an obligation in front of Allah to be 100% active in the lives of their children, to provide the well-being of the children.
Exactly, just like he said, parenting is an amanah. So we will be asked about it.
Yes.
And we need to take responsibility.
We need to take it seriously.
Excellent. And that's how we wrap up our conversation this afternoon. Of course, I'm getting from both parties. One, you need to make the conscious decision that this is an amanah, and you need to go in it if you're ready to partake in that amanah. If you're not ready, try to prepare first before you commit. So that is my biggest takeaway from Brother Garrett, that you remember that it is an amanah and Allah is going to ask you about it. And after you've made that decision, then you need to adequately prepare, just as Coco said. You need to adequately prepare. You need to make sure you do your research about who you are first. Do a personality test, find out about yourself, what you like, what you self-awareness, what you like, what you dislike, what are your preference, and then look at what would you like to see in a lady or in a mother of your children. How would you want to see her? Then you adequately prepare for the process of being a husband, the process of being a father, the process of everything that entails in that family unit. You need to prepare. And my last parting shot is that while doing all that, remember that you have no power, you have no strength. All that you have is a shared power or delegated power from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So please remember Him in every step of the way. You make dua for Him to enable you to get the right partner. You make dua for Him to enable you to prepare well, adequately. You enable Him, you ask Him to enable you rather to be able to take care of the responsibility trusted upon you in the right way. Because at the end of the day, we are all going to be accountable to Him. While doing all this, I'm summarizing with Surah Al-Rum. وَجَعَلَ بَيْنَكُمْ مَوَدَّةً وَرَحْمَةً. While we are all glorifying love, let's remember to be empathetic and to be merciful towards our spouses, either current or exes. Because as you are struggling, they may also be struggling. They're just not voicing it, and you're not witnessing it. So be empathetic. Extend some grace. My name is Faisal Qasim, and it has been amazing. It has been my pleasant pleasure to host this amazing podcast. And thank you so much to our guests this afternoon. Inshallah, I hope we're going to do this again. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
And they're out.